Tansei, I'm Krisanachkate. Welcome to APTN National News Daytime. Thank you for joining us. There is breaking news at this hour where Prime Minister Mark Carney and Alberta Premier Danielle Smith have signed a memorandum of understanding for a major energy cooperation agreement. It will lay out conditions for a new oil pipeline to be approved under the federal government's major projects law. Have a listen.
Thank you to the Prime Minister for being here today, and this is a really great day for Albertans. We have been working for some time on addressing the 9 bad laws, as I like to call them, that have been impacting our investment climate here, and I'm pleased that we've reached an agreement to substantially work on removing and revising those laws. I think what it's going to do, especially with the removal of the emissions cap on Alberta, as well as the removal of the net zero power regs, I think it's going to unleash an incredible amount of investment and allow us to work together.
It's a great day for Alberta, it's a great day for Canada. And at the heart of what is a multifaceted agreement, we have more work to do going forward, but a multifaceted agreement. In effect, it creates an energy transition, all aspects of energy, but really sets the stage for an industrial transformation. At the core of the agreement, of course, is a priority to have a pipeline to Asia. That's going to make Canada stronger, more independent, more resilient, more sustainable.
Earlier this week, First Nation leadership in BC have vowed that oil pipeline from Alberta to the West Coast will never happen. And BC Premier David Eby said it was unacceptable for BC to be excluded from the pipeline talks. We'll have more reaction on this developing story on our evening newscast. In just 1 week, there have been 4 major drug busts in 4 separate drug trafficking incidents in First Nations in Northern Ontario. The arrests come during a time when the Anishinaabe Nation leadership declared a state of emergency last month for all of its First Nations in Ontario due to the ongoing drug crisis and gangs. From November 18th to November 25th, the Ontario Provincial Police, the Anishinaabe Police Service, and the Anishinaabe Police Service made 4 major drug busts in Ottawapiskat, Sagamok, Anishinaabeg, Shagunda First Nation in Manitoulin Island, and Constance Lake First Nation. The illegal drugs seized includes methamphetamine, pills, crystal meth, fentanyl, magic mushrooms, cocaine, and Oxycontin. More than 6 people have been arrested on a number of drug charges, with some also facing unauthorized weapons charges. Police officials say they will continue to take any tips from the public to ensure community safety and protection. In a statement, the United Chiefs and Councils of Manitoulin Anishinaabe Police Service said, "Community safety is a collaborative effort with our communities. We need your help, your information, and your assistance to effect change." Police also say drug trafficking is a direct cause of home invasions, serious assaults, and homicides in the community. This November marks Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Canada. The government of Saskatchewan has now put in new legislation to expand the definition of interpersonal violence to include cyberstalking and online harassment. APTN video journalist Rachel May spoke to a community organization about what this could mean for victims who are leaving abusive relationships.
All of these things people can put on social media. Accusations, they're not proven, but then they become viral, and they don't realize how many people they're hurting.
Shirley Eisbester leads the Central Urban Métis Federation, Inc., known as Comfy. They provide cultural, educational, and social supports to Indigenous people in Saskatoon. They also run programs that help women escape domestic violence, like Aggie and Shirley's House, which provides emergency shelter and long-term support for abused people. In an emailed statement, the government of Saskatchewan says their Cyberstalking and Coercive Control Act, announced in early November, aims to protect victims of interpersonal violence from digital harassment and location tracking by updating how control, harassment, and abuse are defined in the digital age. It reads, in part, the Saskatchewan government is dedicated to supporting victims and survivors of violence through legislation, funding, and programming, and to stop interpersonal violence before it starts through education and awareness programs. The province's interpersonal violence and domestic violence strategies have been developed through consultation with community stakeholders and advocates and include a focus on 3 pillars: prevention, intervention, and accountability. Eisbester says she's glad to see new legislation taking effect, knowing how far cyber harassment can reach. But she adds this is only the first step in protecting people leaving abuse.
Well, my first reaction, obviously, is that it's going to be a good law. My second is, are they going to be able to enforce that?
She says laws must come with enforcement, and without a clear enforcement plan, they shouldn't be made. Saskatchewan says it is allocating $32 million to support interpersonal violence programs through the justice system, along with additional funding for family intervention support teams, transportation for domestic violence survivors, and an ad campaign. Eisbester says she hopes these programs are implemented soon to help prevent future tragedies.
I mean, with the history of domestic violence and getting court orders to keep someone away, and then it doesn't work, and then what do we have? We have a murdered and missing Indigenous woman.
Rachel May, APTN National News, Saskatoon.
A First Nation in central Alberta just purchased a major property north of Calgary. The Sunchild First Nation, located about 200 kilometers northwest of Calgary, purchased this former bank building in downtown Red Deer. The more than 17,000 square foot space will serve as the new location for Sunchild Child and Family Services. Leadership says it's an ideal location because of existing family services in the area. The price of the building was not disclosed. However, it was previously listed for almost $1.1 million in 2024. Chief Joey Pete said the space will have 20+ offices and 2 boardrooms, and when the building is fully operational, they'll be able to serve families at a greater capacity. We're always looking for your feedback or story ideas. Here's how you can continue the conversation with us. If you have a story you want to share, send us an email to news@aptn.ca. And to read and watch our stories, go to aptnnews.ca. You can also find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. Indigenous groups in Manitoba are assisting in sending a satellite up to the moon. That story after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. A group of Manitoba researchers are building a satellite to be sent where no Canadian spacecraft has ever gone before, into the moon's orbit. CTV's Alex Karpa explores the new chapter in moon exploration, which is putting University of Manitoba researchers at the forefront alongside Indigenous groups.
So this is a CubeSat.
This satellite may look small, but it carries some large aspirations.
This is by far the most challenging thing that I've ever taken on.
Philip Ferguson and his Starlab team at the University of Manitoba are developing a lunar exploration spacecraft called CubeSat, which will not only orbit the moon, but also send a device to the lunar surface to collect scientific data.
We're looking for different kinds of minerals that we could potentially use as fuel, or minerals that we could use to help support life on the moon as we practice to get ready for Martian colonizations.
This is the first time a Canadian spacecraft will leave Earth and go into lunar orbit. Andrew Bowman says this is a great opportunity for students like himself to work with industry leaders on important projects.
I'm a PhD student, but there are master's students and probably will be undergraduate students involved as well. So really getting all levels trained and qualified to help with all the future missions.
This satellite is scheduled to launch sometime in late 2027, but it's not just researchers working on this device. The university is co-developing this satellite with Indigenous groups and youth.
My experience as a child about my fascination of stars, and I know many of our kids are like that.
Some hope that kind of engagement will inspire the next generation.
Science and engineering is part of their culture and heritage, so we want to bring that and give them some exciting applications for today.
Ferguson believes this will be the first of many lunar missions led by Manitobans.
How can we use the moon in the future as a stepping stone to get to Mars.
It may be a small satellite for space, but Ferguson said it's certainly a giant leap forward for Canadian exploration of our closest celestial neighbor. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
They're the ears and eyes of rural and remote Yukon communities, trained to help in situations ranging from medical emergencies to loose dogs and even search and rescue. They're called Community Safety Guardians, and they can be found in communities across the territory. Now, a new program at Yukon University is giving Indigenous people intensive hands-on safety guardian training. APTN's Sarah Connors got a first-hand look at the new program.
Would you know what to do if you came across someone who lost a finger in the bush?
So we're coming in here, we're looking for hazards. Oh boy.
Thankfully, the injury here is fake, but the scenario isn't.
So we want to maybe see if we can save the finger here too.
This realistic first aid field exercise is part of a new Community Safety Guardian program at Yukon University in Whitehorse.
I think it gave my team a good experience.
Taku River Tlingit First Nation member Barb Dawson is one of the program's participants.
I've taken courses before, but this is going to be very in-depth because we're going to touch on search and rescue as well.
Okay, all right. Are you cold?
Yeah.
The program is a collaboration between the university and Indigenous safety consulting firm House of Wolf. House of Wolf has helped First Nations across the Yukon launch safety guardian programs of their own, but a formal course has never been offered before. Over the course of 6 months, 20 participants complete a week of training in areas like first aid, conflict resolution, and cultural safety. Safety guardians come from many walks of life. They're community members trained to provide culturally safe support, de-escalate conflict, and assist people in crisis.
We have no enforceable powers. We're not the police, and people know who we are. They trust in us. I mean, they come to us all the time.
I did tell them I was on blood thinners.
Most of the participants are Indigenous and were nominated by their First Nation, and some are already working as safety guardians in their communities. The program is intended to give participants several industry-recognized certifications.
We're really a leader, and the work with the House of Wolf in creating a comprehensive, robust, accreditable program. This is certainly a leader in the field.
Indigenous experts and elders are also offering cultural teachings and mentorship. Kwanlin Dun elder Diane Smith has seen firsthand the positive work the safety guardians have done for her First Nation in Whitehorse.
But they are really made a difference in our community. Like, you feel safe, you can walk around, and there's, like, when you phone them for help, they're there. And they listen to the citizens of how they need help.
For Dawson, community safety is about building trust.
I think just having your own community member there and having a little more confidence that you know them, that they'll, not be so hard and just be more supportive.
Sarah Connors, APTN National News, Whitehorse.
It's Thursday, and that means our Nation to Nation host Karen Pugliese is here from Ottawa to tell us why she's once again having Senator Paul Prosper on this evening's episode.
On Nation to Nation, we're taking a look at what's been happening with Bill S2, and it's been something to watch. This bill was originally meant to resolve a very specific legal dispute for a small group of 3,000 to 6,000 people who lost their status. But the Senate committee heard from dozens of witnesses calling for bigger changes, including ending the second-generation cutoff. And they did that. So it's huge. But these amendments could still be undone as the bill moves forward. So are these amendments a good idea? And will they survive? That's coming up on Nation to Nation.
Miigwech, Karen. We now want to tell you about this week's third web poll question. Over on our website, we ask, are you in favor of advancing pipeline construction to help the economy? You can answer yes, no, or unsure. Go to our website at aptnnews.ca to have your say. The questions will be on the right-hand side of the homepage. When we come back, we'll tell you about 2 inspiring Indigenous cooks in Ontario. Stay with us. Walalan for staying with us. Charlottetown 12, Halifax sunny and 11. Cartwright -2, La Grande River -2. Saint Jovite 2, Val d'Or 0. North Bay -2, Peterborough +2. Sudbury -3, Thunder Bay -5. Puckatawagan -8, God's Lake -10. Rain in Winnipeg at -4, Gimli -4. Saskatoon cloudy and -8, clear skies in Regina at -11. Buffalo Narrows -11, La Ronge -13. Peace River -11, Fort McMurray -10. Calgary -7, Medicine Hat -3. Kamloops partly cloudy and 0, Vancouver 8. Fort Nelson -5 and sunny there, Dease Lake -8. Old Crow -28, Rock River -26. Yellowknife clear skies and -15, Wrigley -21. Tuktoyaktuk -22, Pallatuk -20. Baker Lake -23, Arviat -17. And Igloolik -25, Arctic Bay -29. A Northern Ontario mother is cooking for others to help her cope with loss. Caroline Pavola of Thunder Bay began baking cakes in Bannock following the death of her son. Eventually, this turned into a full-fledged catering business for her. She says it not only helps her cope with her grief, but it also brings her family closer together. APTN's Mike McDonald reports.
She measures like
Although many different kinds of goodies come from this kitchen, the name of the game here is Bannock, and lots of it.
I've always loved baking and cooking, it was always part of my life. But when I lost my son, I remember thinking, now what am I going to do? Like he's gone, right? So, and then I just had this thought, I'm gonna open a business and I'm gonna start baking.
Caroline Pavola says it was during a family movie night that she came up with a name for her business, which is a twist on the famous Toy Story line, To Infinity and Beyond, spoken by the Buzz Lightyear character.
Cookums Bannock and beyond, and I was holding a big bannock going like that, like I was just being silly, and that's how our family is too. We're really silly, and my niece Angel was taking pictures, and yeah, that's how we came up with the name.
Pavola operates the business from her home so she can be close to her family, even when she's working.
I stay home because whatever income I have goes back to them, It helped my daughter get her nursing degree, helps my granddaughter get her nursing degree right now, and then I pay for all the hockey stuff, all the boys are in hockey, even baby plays hockey out here. Yeah, so I pay for that. Just anything that they need, that's what I use my little business for.
Although the business provides Pavola with a sense of purpose, she still grieves, even more so with the loss of yet another family member since she started her business.
I don't know, I just miss him so much still, and then on top of that, losing his brother, my son, that's whose kids I have, I'm raising them now.
But Pavola keeps going, working for a brighter future for her surviving children and grandchildren.
I decided I'm going to do this. I need to do something. I can't just sit here because I have to provide for my family, and I have to go on.
Pavola says addiction and mental health struggles have put her family through a lot, and she would like to see more support made available for people who are struggling. Until then, she's calling on everyone to be kinder to one another. Mike McDonald, APTN National News, Thunder Bay.
And finally for us, an award-winning Haudenosaunee chef in Ottawa has been educating people on Indigenous history and culture by incorporating tradition into fine dining. APTN's Nunganske Rose Jacobs has the story.
Right now, there are many great chefs across this country that are making their own seat at the table. And we're looking at each other from across the way and smiling and recognizing that we're here to work together. We all have very similar messages in what we're trying to do and promote and what we're trying to showcase with our food. The stories we're trying to tell about our community, our history, and the pride that comes with that.
Chris Commandant is doing just that as a sous chef at the One Elgin restaurant at the National Arts Centre in downtown Ottawa. At the NAC, not only can you enjoy an upscale dining experience, but you can find theater performances, dance, orchestras, and community events. Chris is from Watam Mohawks First Nation, north of Barrie, Ontario, where he grew up, learning to take just enough to sustain yourself, but to always leave some for the next generation. That lesson remains important to him today. For some chefs, a nostalgic childhood meal have driven their passion, but for Chris, his inspiration came from something else.
So food to me, I never wanted to be hungry. That's it. I find that there's a stigma behind chefs getting in for these massive and grandiose ideas about, oh, grandma did this or mom did that. I just wanted to always be prepared to feed myself and be capable of sustaining myself when I needed to. There's a love of food too. Over the last 25 years, the Le Gordon Bleu graduate has worked for prestigious restaurants across Ontario, but has been a chef here for 5 years. He says his knowledge of the land and respect for its resources are what makes his dishes so special. Each of his plates tells a story and honors tradition, like this one he calls the duck's home. Every ingredient added represents its habitat and what it eats. And then we're going to put the duck right in its natural territory. We're going to give him a little bit of his natural straw and hay as if he was hiding in the reeds. The dish is not only inspired from Chris's Haudenosaunee roots, but from cultures all over the world. The inspiration is being inspired by Japanese culture as well too, and their use of ingredients and cooking techniques. Chris is not only making change through his cooking, but by volunteer teaching at various schools in Ottawa. He says there are more spaces being made for Indigenous voices at institutions like the NAC, where he says his work is valued and he's encouraged to thrive. He calls it a step in reconciliation. I hope that they look at what I'm doing now and understand that it's okay to love your food. It's okay to be Indigenous. It's okay to be proud of being Indigenous. Chris is making an impact, not only within the community, but by being recognized for his influential work in the culinary industry. He was just featured on the cover of Menu Magazine's fall issue for winning the 2025 Restaurants Canada Culinary Award. It's a defining moment in my career and something that I won't forget. I know that when I looked at it, I was like, wow. Look at that, I actually clean up well. Chef Chris is proud, not just for the recognition, but for using his voice as a recipe for change. I think the biggest message that I'm trying to put and convey with people is that Indigenous food has been here forever. It's not a trend, it's not a fad. It's something that has been here since the dawn of time and deserves a rightful space. And there you are.
Thank you so much.
Appetit, enjoy.
Thank you. For Chris, it's not just about creating a tasty meal, but it's about preserving stories for future generations to come. Nagonska Rose Jacobs, APTN National News, Ottawa.
And that's your daytime newscast for this Thursday. Truth in Politics and your evening newscast is back in a few hours. Please join us then. Hai hai miigwech masicho. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next day.